episode 54 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am Devin Ventre. You can find me online at knittymcpurly.com. I'm on Instagram as Knitty McPurly, and you can email me at devin@knittymcpurly.com. Welcome to episode 54. Today is Friday, November 5th, and the Hat Knit Along, just ended over on Instagram, and the winner was Sarah of 231 Baker Street. I sent her her prize just yesterday. She won a hat kit in the date night colorway. I showed this on Instagram too. This is a hat that Gigi knit, but it kind of shows what the date night colorway looks like knit up. And this is in the Amsterdam Aran. Gigi knit this mostly by herself. I think I helped her with the rib, and then she just, did stockinette to the top. And I see there are some decreases in here, but she just kind of decreased and then whoop, tied it all up, popped on some pom-poms, and this is a gift for her best friend for Christmas. But anyway, that's the same yarn that I sent Sarah as a prize for the knit along. So the hat knit along was October. The sock knit along is November, and that is happening right now over on Instagram. I'm going to put up the hashtag that you can use to tag your finished socks. They have to be socks that you finish in November. And if you use a Knitty McPurly yarn or a Knitty McPurly pattern, you get extra entries. And I think that's how Sarah won, because she made 3 hats in October, and some used my yarn and some used my patterns, and she got a lot of extra entries that way. So if you want to join us for the sock knit along, please do that. It's super fun. It's nice to have like a little deadline to kind of keep you moving and keep you going. I know having this weekly podcast has really motivated me to knit more, and because I can show it, and it's nice to kind of have those little motivators. The most important topic that we need to talk about today is my 90s hair. So, what do you think? Like, when your hair grows back from nothing, you don't know what to do with it. So every, couple of weeks, you're like, well, I got a new hairstyle. What am I going to do with this? So, I poofed it kind of 90s style, and kind of gelled it a little bit. And my children said 2 thumbs down. They did not like it, but I think it looks good. I like it. I'm okay with this color right now. I'll probably go back to blonde at some point. But my husband likes it. He's like, yeah, looks good. That's what you should do. So that's where we are. You have to let me know what you think. Yes to the 90s, or do something more modern. I don't even know. I don't even know. I've got like 2 inches of hair all over, all over my head. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay. Shop news. I have a few new necklaces in the shop. This is a magnifier necklace, and it is in kind of a rose gold, coppery. Oh, it's so pretty. It has a twisty chain with these little stones, and it has a dark red stone on it. This is so pretty. These just came today, so I'm very excited to be able to show these to you. Hopefully I'll be able to get them in the shop before I upload this video, but if you go and they're not there yet, be patient, and they will be there sometime tonight. So this is a new magnifier. I'll tell the story at the end of why I'm up here instead of down in my kitchen, but this is kind of nice. I've got a couple sweaters here. Paired with my Watership sweater, I have this necklace. I haven't even named these necklaces yet. So this one is a spinner. Now, the 2 new necklaces that I'm about to put in the shop tonight don't hold a huge number of stitch markers. So this one, it looks like this, and then it spins, and it has 3 separate opening places that only hold one small stitch marker each. So this is a really cute necklace. I just think it's so pretty. And I have this in gold also. Like I said, I haven't even named them yet, but if you go look on the website, click on the accessories tab. And if it's, like I said, if it's not there yet, be patient, it'll come. But this is one for somebody who uses a lot of small needles, because you don't need very big stitch markers, and it only holds 3. So if you wanted more stitch marker space, the Odette or the Josephine both hold a lot of stitch markers. This is something that doesn't hold quite as many, but it's still very pretty, fun look. This one with my faucette, this is super cool. Try and be able to see that here. Move the sweater. We don't need the sweater. Looks good with it, but I want you to see the necklace. So this one is really cool. It has a cross on it in citrine and a little key. I just like that. It just feels very papal to me, the key and the citrine cross. So this is also kind of small, and it holds 2 larger stitch markers. And it has this kind of faux toggle, just like the other one does. All made in the USA. So there's that. But yeah, these are going to be over on the website. Very excited. New necklaces. That's always fun. Let me put this one back on. This is just so fun. My children love these magnifiers. They like to walk around like they're, you know, Mr. Peanut. But these are really very handy. Like if you need to read something, I mean, it really is helpful. Like you're at the grocery store or you're wherever and you're like, oh, quick, I need to read something and I don't know where my readers are. I just pull out my magnifier and I can read it. So that's super nice. Also, another thing I'm going to be working on is McPurly pouches. If you're somewhat new to the shop, this is one that I had. And the McPurly pouch is this little pyramid-shaped pouch that just holds a ton of stuff. It has like a loop with you could clip it on to something if you wanted. Cute zipper pull. And you could fit your whole fist in there or a bunch of stuff. It really fits a lot of stuff. I have a video on my Instagram showing all the things that you can fit in a McPurly pouch. And then you can just chuck it in your purse or clip it onto the outside of your backpack. And you have your chapstick and your Q-tips and your tissues and Tylenol and stitch markers and scissors, and it just holds a whole bunch of cute stuff. So I haven't had these in the shop recently, mainly because my house has been going through kind of a shift. You know, with dyeing yarn, I've had to move out of my carpeted office area into one that is not carpeted. So it's been a lot of moving of stuff around and I just don't have it all figured out yet. But anyway, as soon as I get the advent calendars out, which is going to be probably on Monday, today's Friday, November 5th, on Monday I should be mailing those advent calendars out. So keep an eye out for that. Once those are gone, because my dyeing space is just wall-to-wall advent calendars. It's advent calendars everywhere. Like I'm so grateful that I was able to do so many and that you guys wanted them. They sold out quickly, and even the extra ones sold out really quickly. I'll definitely be doing that again next year. That was really, really fun. But once I clear that out, I will have room to work on things like McPurly pouches. I got some new fabric from Spoonflower. Spoonflower is a little bit expensive, and so, you know, I usually am very thoughtful about my Spoonflower purchases, but they had a sale. They had a 20% off sale, so I was like, click, 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 click. I was like, okay, McPurly pouches are coming. So these are fat quarters of the Cypress cotton canvas, and this one is Charlotte's favorite. It's kind of a mermaid pattern. I think that's really pretty. So these are the fabrics that I'm going to use. This is as far as I am, so I thought I'd show them to you. These are the fabrics for the McPurly pouches. Here we have like an Art Deco yellow and gray flowers. I have Napoleonic bees. I think this is really regal and awesome. This one is super fancy and colorful, kind of an Indian sort of theme. I think that's really pretty. And all of these will have corresponding zipper pulls. They're really fun. And this one I think is so cute. I love the mom and the daughter mermaid. It's all different mermaids. Some are like playing instruments. Now with a fabric like this, I have to cut very judiciously because I want to get as much of the picture on as I can, and it's kind of a small space. So that'll be a fun challenge. Something like this is much easier where it's repeating. I have these geometric bears with the geometric mountains. This is very easy to cut because it doesn't really, you don't have kind of pattern specific areas. This one is super cute, but again, it's little animals in hot air balloons, but I'm probably not gonna get very many pouches out of this because I'm gonna have to cut it in such a way that I, get a whole animal. Look at that, like it's so cute. Like they're looking out of like telescopes. So cute. And finally, jellyfish, which I thought was cute and fun and colorful. I'll have to find some jellyfish zipper pulls to go along with that. So keep an eye out for those McPurly pouches. Hopefully by Black Friday, I will have those. That would be awesome. I want to have them for the holiday market coming up December 11th, Manassas, Virginia. If you're around the holiday market, it's like from like 10:30 to 2:30, I think. Tons of vendors. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's my very first going to a show kind of thing. I've never done that before. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope I don't mess it up. Okay. I mentioned a few podcasts ago about a kids yarn club. Here's what I'm thinking. Someone suggested this to me. It was not my original idea, but if you think this is a good idea and you're interested, leave me a comment. So my children enjoy dyeing yarn, and they are kind of inexplicably amazing at it. Like it just, when they just blah, and it comes out amazing. And you're like, how did you do that? So I was thinking that starting in the new year, January, February, I would do a 4-month yarn club. And each month you would get a sock set dyed by a different kid. I have 4 kids. So if you would have any interest in that, it would probably be in the $100-ish range. Maybe a little bit more than that. I'm on the floor. I'll tell you why in a minute. Anyway, I used to podcast here all the time because it's quiet. Like I'm upstairs in my room and you can see sometimes I get interruptions, but it's a lot less than being down in the kitchen. Kitchen is like the hub of the house. So anyway, if you would be interested in a kids yarn club of that sort in the new year, let me know and we'll do it. And if there's not enough interest, then I probably won't do it. So we'll see. You let me know. My daughter said, Mom, you should say, if you like this video, click the like button. And if you don't like it, click the thumbs down button so that I know what you don't like. So do that. But also tell me about the Kids Yarn Club if you like that idea. So yeah, subscribe, like, do all the things. That would be amazing. I'm trying to build up my YouTube presence. And every time you watch the video or share it somewhere or click like or subscribe, that really does help. So thank you. I got a lot of progress on my camel cowl. You can see that has a really cool garter stitch cable. And this is, let's see, so it's a little bit bigger on the bottom. I'm gonna hold it upside down because you can see it's a little bit bigger on the bottom. I wanted this to be a really great basic piece for fall and winter. And I love a cowl because you just put it on and it just sits right. Like it doesn't take a lot of fussing. I'm gonna wear this until I'm ready to burst into flames and then I will take it off. Hot flashes. Anyway, so I did get this finished, which was really exciting. I had really just started it last week and I went ahead and dyed up another color. because I wanted one in kind of an ice blue. And this is the Amsterdam Aran. I just started this and it looks messy. It's a little bit wonky. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm gonna make one in this color too. And I just think it's gonna be really, really pretty. Yeah, so this is the Camel Cowl. Pattern will be out in a few weeks. Takes 2 skeins of Aran weight yarn. Knitters. Sticks to your lipstick. I like this Amsterdam Aran because it is an MCN, so it has a lot of drape and it's very soft, and so it's not itchy, which is really nice. Sometimes I end up making things that are too close to my neck and just itch me all the time, so that's frustrating. But this is not like that. So I did not make any progress on my other sweater that I'm currently designing. I was just feeling the cables, I think. This was just so fun and fast. So yeah. Okay, so the topic this week is my favorite knitting books. Everybody has their own favorites, and I just wanted to share with you some of mine. So I'm going in order of kind of most favorite to these are good too. I didn't bring up all my knitting books. Like, I have a lot more of them that I just, they're like, maybe I picked them up at a used bookstore or something, and I could take them or leave them. This is like your standard library stitch dictionary, or dictionary, if you will. 750 knit stitches, the Ultimate Knit Stitch Bible. I use this probably more than any other stitch dictionary. I just really like it. It has a lot of really basic stuff in it. It's got good color. Yeah, you can see I have like notes in the margins. Now, it does have some things that I never use. Like, I find the color work to be a little uninteresting, personally. And also it has like a whole section on like edgings that I'm not interested in. But it has a lot of really basic stitches and ones that are maybe less basic but still interesting. So I use this one a lot. Sure, you can find it at the library if you're interested. Second book is the Knitted Cable Source Book by Nora Gahn. And this has tons of cool cables in it. This garter stitch cable is one that I found in this book. I'm not sure where it is, but it just has lots of cool cables, but also patterns. Like, Nora Gahn doesn't see boundaries. She's a little bit like Stephen West in that way, maybe only in that way. I don't think that they're, really very similar, except that they just are fearless. You can just see how she puts things together in a way that's maybe unexpected or different. And there are 15 patterns in this book. So there's a section where it has different cables, but there's also 15 patterns in here that I would totally make. Like really, really cute ones. There's one in here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, I just think this is gorgeous. Isn't that so pretty? That's a cable. I love how she styled it too. Just cool stuff. I use this a lot for cables, basically, because that's what's in it. But I'm also just inspired by her lack of fear, like just, I can knit this shape. I can do it this way, even though other people don't do that. Why not, right? Nora freaking Gahn. My next pick is the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible. This one is super fun and very challenging because every single pattern is super complicated. So I use this a lot, but in fact, I used this book as the inspiration for this pattern, but I simplified it a lot. This is my own creation based on ideas that I got from this book because they are very complicated. I mean, just look at some of these symbols. like things you've just never seen before. What the heck? So, you know, if you're into that, then by all means, but personally, I like it for kind of inspiration and, yeah, like getting ideas and things, but I always simplify it just because, I'm a simple person. Okay, the next book is The Complete Book of Knitting that I found at my local used bookstore for like $1. And this is just really cool. Like it has the Stitch Dictionary thing going on, but it just also has stuff in it from the 70s. Like, what is this? Ribbon? Knitting with ribbon? What the heck? It's awesome. Whatever. I don't think I'd do it, but yeah, anyway, it's fun. That's a fun book to look at. Okay, my next two books are mainly recommendations for designing, if you have any interest in design. If you want to design socks, the Sock Knitter's Handbook, this book is amazing. It has everything you would want to know about socks. Stitch counts, different types of heels, toes, top down, toe up, 2 at a time. It just has tons of information. There are so many different ways to knit a heel and a toe. You know, I mean, sometimes people get really anatomical with their toes. I'm like, it just needs to come to a point. You know, I'm not that picky about my toes, but if you are picky, maybe you have weird feet. I don't know. Get this book and it will teach you how to knit socks for your weird feet. Or you can design socks for people with weird feet. The possibilities are endless, really. When I first started designing, I reached out to Alana Dacos over at Never Not Knitting, and I said, I want to learn how to design sweaters. Like, how did you learn that? I don't have a degree in, you know, knitwear design. And she said, look at this book. And this book has everything you need to design sweaters of many different shapes and sizes. The Knitwear Design Workshop by Shirley Payton. Look at that sweater on the cover. Isn't that just amazing? Like, that's a labor of love right there. But it's very good for how to design and how to do the math, because I have the artist's brain, not the mathematician's brain. And so I can do the math if I have specific directions on how to do it. But my brain just doesn't do it by itself. I need someone to tell me. But this book has all of that information in it if you want to design your own sweaters. Okay, so that's super fun. It's always fun to talk about books. One more book I want to share with you. Now, this is not a knitting book. This is just like a public service announcement. This is a cookbook. It's called The Cancer Fighting Kitchen. And obviously, I got it when I got cancer. But this book is amazing. Like, it was a little expensive. I want to say it was like $25 on Amazon. Totally worth it. Everything in here is delicious and good for you. And it's good for you not in a gross way. It's good for you in a delicious way, because a lot of times during chemo, I know I lost my taste. I couldn't taste any food. And so they give you suggestions for ways to make food have more taste. So even if you don't have cancer, I recommend this as a cookbook for anyone. Trying to think, what did we make that we really liked? There's just a lot of good stuff in here. It's just like, I'm trying to find one that's good. Like that, like stuff like this, you know, like a salmon salad. I made that. That was really good. Oh, I made this acorn squash thing. That was really good. Just everything in here was good. I didn't make this, but it looks good. Chicken vegetable soup with ginger meatballs. So anyway, that's just a brief aside. It is by Rebecca Katz. And it's a great cookbook for all people who like food. So there you have it. And that brings us to Knitting Fantasies. The theme for this episode's Knitting Fantasies is hats on Etsy. I usually start to find patterns by just typing in a Google search of knitting patterns, and that will take me down some rabbit hole. Well, this week it was hats on Etsy. So I want to highlight a couple designers, and all the information for everything that I talk about will be in the description box below. If you're interested in one of the hats, look down there. That's where I keep the show notes. There is one designer in particular, well, two. There's two designers in particular that I want to highlight. The first one is Linda Whaley, and she goes by Pure Hand Knits over on Etsy. She has a lot of patterns, and she put a lot of time into the way she lists them. She lists them differently, even though it's the same pattern, to, be caught by different searches. She has a lot of really basic patterns. My first pick from her is the Zeke Bobble Hat, and it's a very basic hat, DK weight. It comes in 10 sizes with directions to be knit flat or in the round, and it's like $4, $4.50. It's just a really, really reasonably priced hat for a lot of pattern. My second pick from her is called the Mickey Rib Hat. Same thing, DK. This one is 9 sizes, knit flat or in the round. It's a very basic rib hat, but just really cute. Like, it'd be a great pattern to have. But if you're looking for hats on Etsy, I think I would just Google Linda Whaley or Pure Hand Knits, because she has a ton of patterns. I'm not a huge DK hat person. I like an Aran hat or a bulky or a chunky hat. So she might have those too. I don't know if you like that kind of hat too. Another hat that I picked is the Hail Beanie by KT Designs. I picked this because I thought it was cute and the yarn looks fat. However, it only comes in one size and I could not find yarn details. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe they're there, but I wanted to see if this was bulky or chunky or whatever it was, and I didn't see it. So I don't know. It does not have the bells and whistles of the first two in terms of the sizes and, just more stuff. It's just more pattern for your pattern. But my fourth pick is the Bexley Beanie by Adeline Rose. This is worsted weight. It comes in one size and it's knit in the round. But this designer, Adeline Rose, has a ton of hat patterns. Maybe other patterns too. I was focusing on hats this week. But just a lot of really cute hat patterns on Etsy. And I know when I was crocheting hats last year when I was crocheting hats, I got all my patterns on Etsy. And there's just a lot of good ones out there that I didn't know about. Etsy has a lot of good patterns. Okay, moving on. The next segment is the word of the week. I decided that I wanted to talk about some words in knitting and discuss their history because that's interesting to me. I have a friend who, when I first met him years and years ago, and he said, "Oh, you're a knitter." He goes, "Skein?" Like, that's how you pronounce it, right? Like, I just thought that was so funny because as knitters, we throw the word skein around all the time, but people who don't knit, you look at it and you go, "Skein? What's that?" So today's word of the week is skein. And I just wanted to look into the etymology of this word. It comes from 15th century Old French, from the word escan or escania, I don't know. And it means, predictably, hank of yarn. So there you go. There's your word of the week. I'll be back here next week with another word. If you come up with any words you're interested in, leave me a comment because I would love to look into some more words for you. Okay, that brings me to, so here's what happened. So I generally like to record the podcast on Thursday because I like to do things early. I like to have it done. I don't want to be doing stuff at the last minute. So I'm trying to record the podcast. Everyone, it's just crazy. I'm in the kitchen. I've got my stuff. I'm like, there was so much craziness going on. My husband's on the bike and he's got the fan on, and then Gigi's making cookies and she's got the kitchen fan on, and I just couldn't do it. And I was tired. It got to the point where I was like, I'm tired. I'm done. I've got my Jesus cup today. Jesus, I trust in you. So it didn't happen. So today I was like, today's Friday. I'm like, okay, on top of it, we got our homeschooling done. I'm like, okay, everybody scatter. and I'm going to do this podcast. And I had a bunch of interruptions and they were funny and cute. And I edited the video and I put in all my pictures and my words and all the stuff, put all the bloopers at the end. I had this all ready. And then I go to save it and it says, you don't have enough room in your phone, which is crazy because when my husband got me this phone, I said, pick the one that I will never run out of storage. But it turns out, even when you have a ton of storage, if you throw enough stuff into that pit, you will fill it. So I'm like, okay, so I go delete a bunch of stuff. I delete a bunch of apps that the kids have put on. I delete a bunch of old pictures, and I delete the stuff that was in the video because in my mind, that stuff has been sucked out and put in the video, and that's there. So I can delete this back stuff. Well, let me tell you, you cannot do that. You cannot. It does not work. It was all gone. So I was like, okay, this time I'm going to record the podcast in my quiet room where I can close the door, and I have a great window here, so there's good light. And I'll sit on the floor, and it's not quite as pretty as the downstairs, but I'm like, I just don't want to edit any more video. I don't mind. I actually really enjoy the editing. That's probably my favorite part of making the podcast. But I've done it enough today. So I want to podcast every week. I want to do that. I don't want to skip it. I want to be on time, and it's a goal I have, and I'm going to do it, even if it means recording the same podcast twice in one day. Okay. So here's what happened. I would like to take yet another page out of Alana's book, like the Knitting Fantasies. She used to have people submit a story for her podcast that she would include at the end. And I was telling my own stories, but frankly, when you podcast every week, you just don't have a story every week. So I was hoping maybe if you have a funny or interesting story that is related to knitting that you would be interested in sharing on the podcast, if you wouldn't mind making a 5 to 10 minute video, even just an audio recording, if that's more comfortable for you. And if you could email it to me, if you want to do that, and you want to be on the podcast, send it to me and I can put it up there. And so I thought so here's what happened could become kind of, a place where we all tell our funny or interesting knitting stories. So if you want to do that, send it to me, devin@knittymcpurly.com. Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. Hopefully I won't delete this one and it'll all be fine. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you here next week. Okay, bye.